Hi, I'm Jade. I'm a PhD student at St George's University of London. Before I did my PhD, I did an undergraduate degree at the University of Sussex in biochemistry. My PhD now is partnered with AstraZeneca, and the purpose of my PhD project is to create a fluorescent glucose sensor to detect glucose in the airways. Glucose in the airways has been associated with an increased risk of airway infections, and this is particularly prominent in people with cystic fibrosis or diabetes. So if we can get a good idea of how glucose is moving in the lungs and detect glucose when it's getting higher, perhaps we can prevent these infections from occurring. My brother is a type 1 diabetic, and he was sort of my inspiration for getting into science, and particularly looking at people with diabetes and hyperglycemia, and glucose sensors as a part of that. It was quite confusing at first because, bearing in mind, I hadn't really even done my GCSEs at this point, so getting a good grasp on what diabetes was and what it meant and what the future held for him was particularly challenging. So I chose biology because, to me, it was diabetes is a biology thing, but it's not until sort of later on in my career path that I realised, well, physiology kind of covers all of these things. Physiology just explains how the body works, and it's how the body works when it's well, it's how the body works when it's not well. So yeah, having a brother who's diabetic, I obviously wanted to understand the differences between what's the difference between him in a sort of disease state and what's the difference between a healthy person. If you have a natural curiosity of the world and how things work, then physiology is the subject for you. Because physiology is like this umbrella category, it means that you don't have to decide early on what it is that you want to specialise in. So if you were to do a physiology degree, for example, that opens up many doors for you later on in your career path.